Fences, while necessary to delineate land ownership or manage domestic livestock, can pose a hazard to wildlife. Research indicates, on average, one wildlife death for every 2.5 miles of fence. Fortunately, fences can be constructed that minimize hazards to wildlife. Director of Conservation John Graves explains.
So we just finished installing some demonstration fence out here of what non-wildlife friendly fence looks like. We used to have a lot of non-wildlife friendly fence out here. That was all ripped out thanks to all of our volunteers that came out to help with that project. Through various grants, we were able to secure enough funding to hire a contractor to put in this wildlife friendly fence. This fence here, the bottom strand and the top strand are all smooth wire, with the bottom strand being 16 to 18 inches off the ground. This fence will still contain cattle that will be grazing in this pasture, but it'll allow all types of wildlife to go under or over the fence without much hassle. Now, to really emphasize the point and to use this property for education, we built these kind of makeshift demonstration fences here as an example of what people typically see across the West and what we used to have out here on the pasture. So in this example here, on the bottom is kind of your typical woven wire fence a lot of people had for sheep and other smaller livestock to contain them. And then also some barbed wire on top of that if they had cattle or horses or such grazing in that same pasture. Now this is very not wildlife friendly fence. And this is just a small little section of what it would look like. And so what we see here is small animals, fawns, young animals would not be able to go through this fence. So in the case of a deer, if the mom jumped over the fence, which the mom could do pretty easily, the baby would not be able to pass through this fence and stay with the mom. That's a big deal. That leads to a lot of abandoned young animals across the West. We also see that these wires here, these barbed wires, they're not very tight. You know, they're relatively tight, but they're not very tight. And that's typical of the fence you see after a few years. And so it's very easy for an animal jumping over to get a back leg in there, hung up, and these wires will crisscross, and that animal will be trapped in that fence, unable to escape, often leading to their death unless a rancher comes by and saves them. So on our wildlife friendly fence we put in, one, the wire is a lot tighter. And two, there's a lot bigger spacing here. So if that animal jumps over and does get that back foot hung up in that back, it's really hard for that wire to get down there and to twist around that other one and get caught. So this is much safer for wildlife. Across the West, you don't always see woven wire. You'll also see just your typical 5-strand barbed wire fence. Now, this fence, it has some elements that are wildlife friendly because small animals could go under this fence, such as turtles or foxes, coyotes, things like that. But it's still, we got some loose wires here. It is spaced a little bit more further apart to prevent the feet from getting caught in there, but it's still not ideal. And so that's why we like this wildlife friendly fence. We have other examples of wildlife friendly fence out here on the property, so come on out, we can talk more about it and educate producers, ranchers, landowners, general public about everything we have going on out here at Big Goose Natural Area. And you can see firsthand all of our demonstration fences that are both non-wildlife friendly and wildlife friendly.
This wildlife-friendly fence project was completed as part of the Powder River Fence Initiative and was made possible with support of the Plank Stewardship Initiative and the Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's Outdoor Fund. Wildlife-friendly fence, managing livestock, and helping to keep wildlife safe.